There we go. Alright, so it goes into, so what if I never reach the shore? But what if I'm stuck just wanting more? There you go, that's magic. What if I just sink deep in the blue? Cause I can never handle the truth. Well, music has always been special to me. I've always had, and been around music ever since I was young. But when I started having a lot of the problems that I did when I was a bit younger, I, turned to music. Music was a constant. Music was something that was always there. It wasn't, wish-washy. It was permanent. It was permanent. It was safe. So I figured, I said, if I can do something and turn my, my poetry, my words into something bigger than just me, and do for other people what, my favorite artists have done for me, then, that's something that I want to pursue and go after. It varies when it comes to that. For me, I think I prefer a bit of versatility when it comes to writing my songs. No, that's not to say that I don't just stick to one method from time to time, but I'd say that writing Shore was a little bit, or at least making Shore, that the whole process of making Shore was a little bit easier than Heartstrings, because Heartstrings, being my first song, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Shore, I had written, and I had this idea for what I wanted it to sound like, and I had a melody. I had a melody in my head the whole time, and I had it. I tampered with it a bit, but I didn't want it to necessarily go anywhere far from when I had first started it, because I wrote Shore about a year ago. And, I wrote that right before I had went away, back home to New York. And I didn't want to fuck with it too much. Didn't want to make it anything too different. So I always, would replay that melody in my head over and over and over and over again, the vocal riff that you hear in there. And so this time when I went in there, he was like, well, what do you want to do? I said, all right, well, I want to build it around this. So as far as, I don't know, I think we're going to have to see where the next one goes, because the next one, the new single and everything, and, the rest of the record, a lot of it is written already. I guess it's trial and error for me. That's to answer your question. It's trial and error. So I want to see what's going to work best for me, what I'm more comfortable with, and what overall produces a better song. I feel it for me. I think it's easier for it to be personal, because I wrote it. It's meant for, it's coming from me to connect with other people. But I think I can go off of other people's stories. It just depends on how I relate to that and then internalize it, and then I never want to feel like I'm plagiarizing somebody else's work. That's a big thing for me, because I write my own music. So I kind of just want to make it as good as I can make it without, feeling like, oh, did I rip off this person's idea, XYZ, whatever. So I feel like with rap, there's a lot more pressure on people to be original and, to not have ghostwriters. Because, there's a lot of people that, in the rap world that have been, said, oh, you have a ghostwriter, Drake, Nicki, Cardi, whatever. So I think in rap, a lot of people take that a lot more seriously. But if you think about it, when it comes to pop or any other type of genre like that, there can be, 10, 20 writers on a song, or in a writing session in a group or whatever. And if I'm I'm not, professionally in the music industry yet, but it's to my understanding that if you wrote something on a track and it's published and it's out there, you have to give credit to that person. So ghostwriting, for me, I'm more partial to people who write their own music. It's not, a dig or anything. It's just, personally me.